Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of my podcast, Candid. I'm here with my friend Terry Johnson. So Terry and I have been friends for forever. We've been friends since we were 14 in high school. We met at Eastmore, Jesus. And Terry and I actually go to Ohio State together. We were both supposed to go to school in Atlanta, and we ended up being here somehow, some way. It's my dude. Like, we were friends for a little while, and I wanted to bring him on to just have some conversation about stuff that he likes. So, first, before we really get into this, Terry picked this drink, y'all. You gonna have to, what is it?
Is this a Riesling?
Riesling. This is a fruity. It's a crisp and fruity drink, y'all. And we got a toast, so here we go. Okay. That's cool. Okay, so Terry and I are actually going to be talking about just his life as a student athlete, as an athlete period, because I'm assuming you were an athlete when you was like a kid, maybe not right in school or something like that. And also just talking about like Black mental health, and how mental health affects Black athletes and how they graduate, how they do in school, all that. So, Terry, when did you first get into sports?
I would say I've always been in sports, just because growing up I started playing basketball and baseball because my grandfather played baseball, and basketball because I had a basketball court. So
that was your thing.
Yeah, so basketball and baseball were my main two sports right away. And then I had a friend that played football, and I used to go to his practices and stuff. And then the coach was like, and a couple of other mentors, they were like, "Oh, you should play. You're pretty fast." So the next year I started playing, and that kind of took over as my main sport. So
yeah, you took off. Literally took off in that. So what would you say your favorite sport was though, growing up?
I would say baseball and basketball.
Okay.
Yeah. I liked football because it was fun.
Yeah.
And I was good at it. But I played basketball every day because I had a court. I would go outside every day in the summer. And then baseball, I enjoyed playing it just with friends and family because it was like a tradition for my family to play baseball.
Okay, that's so cool. I didn't even know that about you. That's really cool. So, did you always want to play sports? Did you always want to be an athlete, or I know you say your grandfather influenced you, but do you feel like this was something you really wanted to do, or just because your family was really into it, you just got into it?
I would say I kind of always wanted to be an athlete. I just always was competitive and challenged myself, challenged other competitors. So I would say I never thought I would get to the point I am, but I just thought okay, I'm gonna grow up, play sports, and then the professional. I didn't even think of the college or sometimes even think of high school when I was a lot younger. So
yeah, that's crazy because I'm not an athlete. I'm not really a sportsy kind of person, but I'm real competitive. So I feel like it's weird. It's I'm not necessarily good at the sport, but I'm gonna play though, and I'm gonna win. I'm gonna try to win at least. I may not be the best, but you gonna lose today. So put in that work. So I definitely feel you. I can't even imagine playing a sport playing sports all the way through my life. Really, I've always been in and out of sports. I did gymnastics, which is it's a sport. It's a sport. I did gymnastics and I did cheer and I played basketball, and that was a tragic situation that we're not going to talk about. And I ran track. I did a lot of different stuff, but I just never I don't know. How did you stick with a sport? I don't know. I could just never do it.
I would say the main reason I was able to stick with a sport, just seeing my progression and me getting better and playing for different teams, and also having the teammates and that culture that you're around.
Right.
I felt like it was. I really wanted to stick with that. So
it's an uplifting space.
So
they all look at the same common goal.
Right. So. And not to get too far into mental health, but it was a safe space where I had friends, I had teammates or so-called brothers that I could see very often and compete, and we would have fun. So staying in sports was just a given for me because I didn't have any older cousins, I didn't have any older brothers, so it was a space where I could basically have another family. So
That's beautiful. I'm not even gonna lie to you because I definitely love fellowship. I love collaborative work. I feel like, especially as Black people, I think it's really important for us to build together because I feel like it can be very difficult to do things by yourself.
Yeah.
It's very hard, especially as a Black person. It can be real hard to pull some stuff together. So it's just nice to have that support. With you being a student, but also being an athlete in high school, how did you manage, I guess, that pressure, just being involved, but also being, because you're very smart. First of all, like, we definitely had some AP classes together. You were, weren't you in AP Chem or something like that? Or you were in, like, well, how? That's the question. How?
I would say it just goes back into my family, my upbringing. Because growing up, I was always multidimensional. Like, my grandfather used to always call me like a Renaissance man because I was always doing everything. So, like, my grandparents, they are music or in the church. So we would always either be going to church and then I'd go to work with my grandfather, and then I'd be at home with my mom or run around with her different businesses. So I was just growing up used to being so busy. So once it was time to go to school, I knew, okay, my mom said focus on academics, make sure your grades is good. And then athletics is fun for me, and I'm decent at it, so like it wasn't too hard. But just really that family upbringing kind of helped me.
That influence.
Helped me really get used to balancing everything.
Man, it's hard to balance.
No, it is.
For real. Like, it's definitely a lot. And like our senior year, listen, y'all, Terry be acting all modest. He be acting all modest. For our senior year, I don't know, Terry took off, okay? He was playing football, everything was great. Like, we won a bell, it was amazing. And we could running track and all that stuff. And I don't know why, but I was really, me and Terry was friends, so I was really invested. I really wanted to know, like, what he was going to do, like, post high school, like, athletic wise. I didn't know if you were going to go play football or if you were going to go run track. So I was like, we'll see what happens. And you ended up picking track, and I was like, okay. It all kind of came together. It all fits. So I was like, I understand. But like with you know, you heard me bring up the bell. I don't know if any of y'all know, Eastmore Ridge, we don't mess with them. I mean, like, do you feel like that was a lot for you? As like, I mean, looking back now, I feel like it's kind of like, not dumb, but kind of like we had this little rivalry going on over this bell, and it's kind of like, okay. But in high school, do you feel like that was like heavy?
It definitely was, mainly because we lost, I think, 2 or 3 years straight. So like, you're the senior class and everybody's depending on you to get it back. So I feel like we just took it to the chin, like, okay, this is what we want to do. This is what it's gonna take to get there. So we just
had to do it.
Just had to deal with it.
Make it happen.
And then luckily we came out on top.
Yeah,
so
no, for sure.
It wasn't.
It was like,
so it wasn't too much on it.
Yeah, I'll say that season, I don't know, we was deep. Like, the fans was deep.
Yeah,
we was out there at every game. I got this picture.
Running on the field.
Yes. So like, I got this picture of us, like, everybody got on these blankets. We all out there, like, just ready. You know, we was definitely supporting you. So like, do you feel like that support as a Black athlete is necessary, like very necessary to who you are, like how you develop yourself?
Yeah, I think so, mainly because, like we said, uplifting the community is a huge thing. So like, as an athlete, if you're competing and giving your best and you look in the crowd, you see you have your whole community supporting you, like that's such it's real good for your spirit, just good for you going forward. So I appreciate y'all. I'll say that. I appreciate y'all, because it was times when you're on the field and you hear the crowd and you just look, and then all your fans, all the classmates, and you just know, like, it's just genuine support. So.
Yeah, everybody's trying to love on y'all. We're trying to support y'all. Man, so fast forward, you are about to be done at Ohio State. How do you feel? First of all, you're about to be a graduate.
I feel definitely I'm ready to be done for sure.
Listen, I am right there with you.
But I'm really excited, just from like all the different things I've learned in the last few years. Because I feel like I've grown a whole lot, I'll say, in the last 2 to 3 years, like just more professionally and as an adult. So I'm just excited to see like what I can do in the future, or
like where you go,
Yeah,
like
where
what
I'll be.
happened. I feel that. So like, as an athlete, running for Ohio State, how? Because I know we talked about how like you manage it in high school, but do you feel like it was a big shift when you went to college? Like the levels, do you feel like it was the same, different?
It was completely different, I would say, because high school academics, they weren't too tough. Like some things were harder, but you didn't really have to take a lot of time out your day to study and prepare for things in high school.
Right.
Versus college, where you literally have to take study time away and really put a lot of time ahead for you. Yeah, for everything. So academics was definitely different and harder. But athletics, I could say it's basically the same. It was different and harder. But athletics was a little bit easier, I would say, because they were kind of there for you in every aspect. So like sometimes with nutrition, they're kind of there for you. Academics, athletics is there for you. So it's a lot more overall support. Okay. But high school, it was just overall easier. So
got you. So I was gonna say, like, did you? Because you're done running, right? So did you feel, supported? Like you were saying, you felt like you had that. I was gonna ask, like, did you feel like you had that support as a Black athlete? But like, do you feel like that support came because you were a Black athlete?
I will say, yeah. I mean, everyone knows Ohio State Black athletes make majority of the money. So most athletes are catered to, or pretty much all athletes are catered to because they're athletes. But,
right.
A lot of support, I appreciated it. I mean, I'm not saying everything was genuine, everything was perfect, but it was definitely support. It was some times where I feel like it could have been better, because I ain't gonna lie, it was a few semesters I struggled. Like I had the lowest GPA in my whole life, but
I don't even believe it.
it was times it was rough. I mean, of course I was still eligible, but like sometimes that advisors just be throwing you in different situations where you don't know, you a freshman, sophomore, you only know what you should be in. So,
so just trying to figure it all out at first.
Yeah. But I'll say now it's kind of a shift. They're a lot more supportive. They're kind of changing they're from the inside, like academics support. So they've been evolving and growing. So I can say that.
Well, that's good then, because I know, like, I don't know too much about like athletics, athletes, all that at OSU, but I know it's a lot of like it's as if like the athletes, y'all be working, but y'all not working. You know what I mean? Like y'all be working, but like making this, like you said, making the university money, but it's not like you're employed in a sense. So it's just kind of like you want to do it because you enjoy it and you want to have a good time, but it's also like I don't want to feel like I'm overextending myself. Like, at the end of the day, we're students. You know, like I came to school like to get my degree. So I don't want to feel like my sports are taking over my academics. Like, did you ever have that kind of issue where it was more so like I just rather run track and not worry about this stuff right now?
Ooh, sometimes track can be a lot, especially in season where you traveling every single week, coming back late, and then still have all of this schoolwork, like you're missing out on group assignments, lab assignments. So it's sometimes I do feel like that, but I would say more recently I've kind of let the sport come to me, because I've been doing it so long. I'm like, as a senior, like you just get accustomed to training, to everything. So I've kind of just let the sport come to me, and then I know when it's time to come, I'm gonna compete, I'm gonna do my best, but I never try to let the sport take up too much of me.
Got you.
Because the last 2 years, I really learned, like, I'm not defined by my sport. And I'm so much more than that. And that's kind of, it leads to something else, but, like, that's kind of where my head is at now. Like, I know I was good at track, or I'm good at track, and I've grown, and I can be good, but I know that's just not, like, if I do good or bad, that's not who I am.
Right.
So
at the end of the day, yeah. So we're gonna get into it. So Terry and was it a few of your teammates?
Teammates and
teammates
others.
and just some other people involved in athletics at Ohio State started an organization, Redefining Athletic Standards. So you want to talk a little more about that?
Yeah, so Redefining Athletic Standards, so we call it RAS, and it's essentially just an organization created by black student athletes to support other black student athletes. So we just see it as like a brotherhood that we can connect with other athletes, with former athletes and alumni and different business owners and just the whole community and connect our athletes with them. So because we feel like athletes really miss out on just the regular student experience. So we just try to be that connection.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Try to like network and career-wise in a sense.
Networking anyway.
Just period.
Yeah, so whether it's mental health or we connecting them with other professional athletes so they kind of learn how to manage, or we connecting them with different job opportunities, or we just having fun. Like sometimes we just have social events where we get the student athletes with other regular students. So it's just bridging that gap.
Okay. So actually, I guess I read about RAS, but I didn't know like the depth of what you all were doing. I kind of was like dipping and dabbing. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I am not really an Ohio State fan. So I go to class and then dip. So I don't really get in the mix. But of course I follow Terry on social media, so I've been seeing it. And I really just love what y'all are doing. Like I think it's really important because I feel like you said, athletes kind of get left in a sense. It's like, okay, you played your sport. That's it. Like we don't have nothing else for you. And I think it's just really nice to have a space where y'all can just be people. Like you said, I'm more than an athlete. Like that's not all of who I am. So as far as mental health goes, how do you feel RAS comes into play with like uplifting and shaping you all's mental health so that you are not just like physically equipped to do your sports or to just do anything, but like mentally there?
I'll say first and foremost, just by bringing that awareness, because I think with mental health, if you're kind of aware of one, like mental health exists and it's okay to kind of accept that you have it or not. But, I guess everybody has it, but it's okay to kind of just accept it. I think that's the number one thing. But the second thing is to, we kind of provide those resources to help those, whether it's simple, a few different things you can do to increase your mental health, whether it's like yoga or listening to certain music or different things like that. Like we try to provide those resources or connect you with other like black professionals that assist you in that. And then I would say the third thing was just like providing that community where when we come together, it's not a stress. So it's just like a stress reliever and really getting your mind off of sports. And also kind of what I said, just allowing you to think that like you're not your sport. And I feel like that's one of the biggest stress relievers, because all that pressure on us when you kind of think that, okay, we're not, like we may run track, but track doesn't define us. Like that initial thought, I feel like relieves so much stress. So we just try to impact athletes in those ways or as many ways as we can. And I know we continue to learn and develop more skills ourselves. So like as we grow, we want to help our athletes grow with that.
I really like that you all, like you said, are more so focused on uplifting who you are as people versus who you are as an athlete. And like, I feel like it's important for athletes to have a voice, especially since like y'all are so prominent. I feel like, you know, people look at y'all like we know, like, okay, like this is a football player, this is a basketball player, this is a track athlete, this is like this, that, and the third. So did you ever feel like because I'm sure Raz is like touched on some of the social stuff that's going on, maybe not specifically like right now just because we're not in classes and everything, but while we were in school, like did you all ever have to deal with like social justice issues and like in that, did you ever feel like your voices were being silenced? Like how did you guys combat those issues?
I would say Raz has kind of challenged like the whole Ohio State athletics to not just sit back and wait for things to pass by, but to use our voices as athletes, as leaders in the community, to like make a difference in our communities and to just express how we feel. Because it was something I think last year with like Colin Kaepernick, when we took a stance and said like we supported him and stuff, and then athletics was kind of like they were kind of just like, oh, hold on,
like wait.
Yeah, but like now they're very outspoken and they kind of address how they support it. But that's just something I don't know. Maybe they just were a little hesitant at the time, but I feel like we kind of made it okay for that.
Yeah.
So
because it's kind of hard. I mean, not hard, but I feel like it. People and like not even just people, like entities like Ohio State are very used to just sticking with the flow, sticking to the status quo. They don't want to test the boundaries, and I think it's so crazy because Ohio State is one of the largest it's the largest university. It's supposedly the most diverse. It's supposed to be this forward university, and yet it oftentimes feels like Black people don't even exist at Ohio State. I'm not even gonna lie to you. So I love that y'all, because to me, whenever somebody like challenges Ohio State, a professor or something, I'm like, yes, y'all better just get them, because I just can't, like, I don't understand how, I feel like Ohio State kind of definitely like emphasizes their diversity and inclusion. Like that's their thing. And it's like you look around and I don't see people that look like me for real. You know, like I'm not even gonna lie to y'all, I may see, if I'm going to class, I may see 1 or 2 Black people. Like, you know, and it's not, I mean, it is what it is. Like, you know, I don't feel like it's a bad thing necessarily, but I just think that it's crazy. Like how do you say we are so diverse and we are so inclusive when y'all really aren't? Like, you know, when BSA dropped the 5.33% shirts. So the Black Student Association, they dropped these shirts that basically said there's only 5.33% Black people that go to Ohio State. And of course, there was a bunch of pushback. They're like, that's not accurate. You didn't count the graduate students. And I'm just like, they don't, I mean, they count, but you know, come on. Like, even if we count the graduate students, what's it going to go up to? 7? Like, it's still, that's just so crazy to me, especially since Ohio State makes a lot of this money, like you said, off of Black athletes. Like, it just brings it right back around to like, needing like that support. Right. That support is just definitely necessary, and so I'm glad that you all were able to kind of just be like, no, like this is not okay, and if y'all not gonna stand by us, whatever, like we're gonna do it anyway, and because this is how we feel and we're gonna express ourselves. Right. So I think that's really good that y'all just was like, I can't say what I want to say, but but like moving forward post grad, do you feel like mental health, like Black mental health, athletes' mental health, I don't know why I just said that like that. Do you feel like that is something that you want to focus on or kind of like still be involved in?
Yeah, I would say, I always want to be involved in that because like it's going to be a part of me. It's been a part of me. It's going to be a part of me continually. So I've thought of a few things and a few different ways that I can kind of be a part of it. But I mean, things kind of fell through with everything going on now. But in the future, hopefully, I'll be able to do something. But I feel like it's important because it's going to be important for our kids and their kids.
I was going to say.
So might as well prepare ourselves and our community for it.
Yeah, I think it's really good for young. I call them little people, but I think it's so important for little people to see, especially people who look like them. Doing the things that they love, but not only doing the things they love, but like being successful at those things, and not just being successful at those things, but being successful at other things. Like I was kind of just talking about this yesterday, that I feel like Black people are never allowed to just be regular. We have to be, in order to really get some like attention, you gotta be Kobe Bryant. I said R.E.P. to Kobe Bryant, but you gotta be Kobe Bryant basically. You gotta be like basically
exceptional.
Yes, and I feel like we just can't be regular. We can't do anything that normal people do because it's not enough.
Right.
And so I think it's just nice I think it's nice for little kids to see us just doing anything positive for real. I'm not even gonna lie, because I think about my club kids and how a lot of them, they don't get to see like that. They don't have that influence.
Right.
You know, they don't have people like me, people like you, or like different types of adults in their life that are leading them, and so they're basically trying to figure it out on their own. So I just think it's really our responsibility in a sense. Like now that we're so much old, like we're older, we're 20. Well, you're not 22, but we're 22, and you know, we just it's, even though we're young, we're still like very mature. I feel like it's just at this point we have to kind of take the lead,
right.
And guide, because it's crazy out here. Like,
if we see the problem, we gotta at least try to fix it.
Exactly.
And just let it go by.
Yeah, because I think that's an issue as well, is that some people, and I don't want to say just Black people, I feel like we all kind of do it. And we're seeing it now, like with everything that's happening, we all have been very passive about social justice. Like not all of us. I mean, people are out there, you know, fighting, like trying to make change, and they've been trying to make change before everything has happened. But I think George Floyd's passing definitely like kicked people into gear. Like people are like, okay, this is just too much. This is crazy. This is just like, you know, we have to make a change. So I'm happy that you are doing this. I feel like even if you don't have like a clear plan about what you want to do right now, as far as like working with youth or working with different athletes and stuff, I feel like you will always be a mentor in a way, just because the little ones always are looking to us. Even if we don't like identify ourselves as their mentors, they are always leaning on us and are always, you know, looking to us for what to do next. And so I think it's important for people our age to, it's a lot, but we always got to stay on our toes. Yeah. You know, we really can't slack, because if we slack, then they get the shit, basically, you know. So
I see that exact same thing, because like now I have a little brother, and when he was first started to walk and talk,
oh my goodness,
I would walk a certain way and say things a certain way, and then he'd be behind me doing the exact same thing, and it kind of hit me like everything I do from now on, he's watching whether I know it or not. So it's just I gotta try to be the best person I can be to lead them. So I feel like everybody should think that way.
I agree, and I think this is like going all the way. Like I don't know. I just think that people our age, because we are young, can be kind of selfish in a sense, because we're so worried about trying to get it, and everybody is trying to get it for themselves. Whereas like we really need to be trying to get it for each other. You know, like I want to start a recreational art center for the youth, like for my club kids. I want them to be able to be in the arts and all that stuff. Like, but that's not necessarily for me. You know, I'm not a kid anymore, so I'm not building that space for myself. Like, yes, of course I would love it, would be great, but I'm doing this because I want them to have something. And I think a lot of times we don't think about giving back, we don't think about our legacies, we don't think about the things that we're leaving behind. Everybody just want to start a business, make some quick money, and dip. And it's like, you know, you kind of we have to create a blueprint. That, like, that's the issue too, is we don't write things out, we don't talk to each other, we don't communicate about what's really going on. Everybody is just, people are getting successful and are like, you got to figure it out by yourself. I'm just like, y'all, please. Like, we don't need to be this way towards each other. So I just think that it's important for us to be more open to collaborative work, more open to like talking to each other, communicating and hearing each other out. Because I feel like a lot of times people like listen to respond and not listen to understand. They're like, I don't even worry. I got my point already. I ain't even worry about what they saying. So I think if we all kind of moved differently, especially starting now, like I said, we're 22. If we start now, by the time we're 32, 42, whatever, this will be, it's a cakewalk, you know? But you don't want to wait until you're 30, 40, 50 and you ain't did nothing. You haven't done anything, and now you want to build.
And I think another thing we got to realize, like, everybody's not going to be in the same space, the same area. So, like, if you want to build on this, then build on that.
Right.
Some people thinking here, and that's fine. If you thinking here,
and that's
it's just as fine. So
yeah, we all don't have to be on the same.
Everybody got to find their little niche and just stick with it and go.
Yeah, everybody want to be right. Everybody want to be like, I ain't doing that. Nope, that's wrong. Nope, And I'm just like, at this point, what is right and what is wrong? Because there's people making money and building things and doing stuff in all kinds of ways. Like, I was actually just talking about this with one of my mentors. Like, we were just talking about how before, like, you know, our parents, they had to work, go to school, like they had to go to school to get good jobs. Right. And now with technology and phones, all that stuff, we don't even have to do all of that. You know, you can really start a business from your room
YouTube
and YouTube anything and be making money like in that same week. Right. So things have just shifted, and I think if people were more open to that idea that we are shifting, that you don't have to do things one way, right. It would be a different conversation. I feel like it wouldn't be such a disconnect between us. So yeah, we don't went from sorts of mental health to community building. It's all important. It all comes back together because at the end of the day, if you take care of yourself, if you have good mental health, like if you are uplifting yourself, doing the things that are necessary. Like for me, I have to read, I have to meditate, I need a decent amount of sleep. Like, you know, that's like taking care of your mental, then you can take care of the collective. Right. I thought I cut off. You can take care of the collective because at this point, you know, you're good. Mm-hmm. And if I'm good, then I can go and help the next person who may be struggling. Right. But if you don't have yourself together and you trying to pour into everybody else, you get home, and you dry. Everybody else is moving and you, wow, I'm tired. You know, so I just think it's, I think mental health has to do with a lot of it. I think a lot of us, and this is not to disrespect nobody, but I think a lot of us aren't mentally healthy. Like a lot of us really aren't like how we think we are. You know, we want to say, well, yeah, I got it together. I mean, I got a job, I got a house, I have this, that, and the third. Okay, you have all these material things, but are you happy internally? Like, do you talk to yourself nicely? Like, do you enjoy your own company? And I think people don't ask themselves those questions because they don't care. That's not that they don't care.
Some people don't even know.
They don't know. Yeah, they don't even think about it. They're like, well, I've been hanging with these people my whole life, and that's what I've been doing. I've been cool. Like, they don't think that they have to shift or change, or people don't. I feel like sometimes people don't know that they have to grow. Like, as your body gets bigger, you have to get, you know, a little wiser, a little more mature. And I think people get so set in their ways, and they don't realize how hard that is on your head, like on your mental. So my big thing, like these next 6 months, is just grow, like growing, building, personal development, mental development, because if I want to be a leader, you know, if I want to own these things, want to build these things, then I need to be equipped. Right. You know, I don't want to have an art center and I can't even get up every day to go work at the art center, you know, like
it won't sustain you.
Yeah, so like I just think mental health is a big thing for me because I'm somebody, you know, who struggled with depression. I struggle with anxiety still to this day, and so I already know the ins and outs of it all. And I think and I hate, you know, I don't want to say it and make it seem like it's just easy. It's easy. I'm like, everything is easier said than done when it comes to mental health, for sure. But I definitely realized that I was the one that was in my way. You know, I was holding myself back, and I had to figure out like what I was going to do. Like, couldn't nobody fix my life. Right. Couldn't nobody else is responsible for me. And so I was sitting there and I'm like, life sucks. I don't know where I'm going, what I'm doing. And I had to like pull myself out of that. And I think a lot of people are waiting for somebody to come pull them out, and it's like, you're gonna be waiting forever. I'm so sorry to tell you, like, nobody is coming to save you because we all trying to save ourselves and each other. So it's like
nobody knows you better than you. So
exactly. And so I just I love that y'all are focusing on mental health, like focusing on developing the whole person, and just creating space. Like that's what this is, you know, creating space for Black people to just be. Like you don't have to be anything but you. So, you know, yeah. And I think that's, it. Did you have anything else that you wanted to add and share with the people?
I think we covered a lot. I mean, if you have any other questions, I'll feel free to ask them.
Do you want to talk about your plans post grad? Like what you
Yeah, I can.
Okay. So, like, what are your wants? What are your goals? What are you doing?
Oh, okay. Let me get ready for this. So, I'm a businessman. I've always been a businessman.
Yes.
So I'm in construction right now.
Okay.
But I'm looking to, as soon as I graduate, looking to get like a construction job doing estimating for like a few years, just to the money.
Estimating.
just because the money and I'm pretty good at it so far. But then once I'm kind of financially set, I've been already kind of slowly building my own business because I'm looking to get my construction business going. And like if I choose to stay in Columbus, I would like it to be like a kind of like a major construction company in Columbus. So that's really like my long-term goal. And then once I kind of have that going, I mean, I've always been an entrepreneur. I want to get in different businesses and open different businesses around the city. So
okay, so kind of like you want to open these businesses and run them, or do you want to open them and and have other people run them? Like, how you feeling about that?
I'll say the construction I could run for a while, but mainly just own different businesses.
Yeah.
So I don't really have to run all of those, but I was thinking businesses like maybe a Black grocery store, or I want to have like a music studio or like different things like that.
Because I was thinking, that's kind of where my head is. I'm realizing that I'm not necessarily the person that wants to carry out everything. I'm more so the curator. I want to create the stuff, but I don't necessarily want to be like the one that's running the day-to-day all the time. Right. So I definitely feel you on that. Like, I want to have my own businesses, but I also want to create businesses that other people can run, or create things that other people can kind of collaborate on. Because I just love seeing Black people come together, period. So even if I'm not necessarily in the room, I'm there in spirit. Right. So that's all that matters. So that's really good, actually. And you're already going to do it. It's already written. That's happening. So we manifest here. We speak things into existence over here. And he just spoke it. So it's happening. Yeah, it's happening. Me, God, we all heard it. So I feel like that's what's up. Yeah. I want to thank you for coming on my podcast. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I was nervous. I gotta be honest. I was nervous. This is very new for me. But Terry and I do this often. Like, we will randomly run into each other
at the library
or something, and we will sit and have like an hour, 2-hour conversation, just like
about life.
Yeah. It's like I don't know. We do this, so I'm glad that my first official episode was with somebody that I do this with all the time. Anyway, I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, and I will see y'all next time. That's it.